In today's video, I thought I would go over a few tips for teaching your dog to come to you when you call them. This white Labradoodle was dropped off a few days ago, and the owner was telling me that he was having some difficulty with calling his dog back to him. So I asked him a few questions to try to figure out what was going on and why the dog wasn't responding. And I found out he was making some very common mistakes that a lot of dog owners make when we are teaching our dogs to come to us when we call them. So I'm going to give you a few tips on to help you get your dog to come back to you when we call them. So you can see right now they're having a good time playing around, and I'm going to call them to me. I'm going to reward them, and then I'm going to let them go back to playing. All right, so let's see if this works. Ziggy, Chester, come. Good dogs. Good. Ziggy, good. There you go, good. Okay, go play. And so the white one there was a little bit slower to respond. He did eventually come over, and I fed him, and now I'm going to let him go back to play. And he may have been a little bit resistant to initially come to me because he may have thought that I was going to possibly put him in the kennel so that it would take away all the fun that he was just having. So it's really important that when we call our dogs, the dogs learn that something good is going to happen, and then they get to go back to doing whatever they were doing beforehand the majority of the time. Now, I found one of the mistakes that the owner was making was he wasn't delivering a high enough value food treat consistently when he was calling the dog. So I asked him what he was using, and I found out he was using some dried liver treats, and he said that the dog really likes them. However, you may think that your dog really likes a certain type of treat because you generally give it to them inside the home, but then when you go outside in an environment that is very distracting to the dog, you may find the dog finds that that treat isn't worth responding to a recall cue, especially in the early stages of training. All right, so I'm going to just kind of move around here, and I'm going to start doing a little bit of training. Let's see how they respond to me. Ziggy, come. Chester, come. Good. Good dogs. Good. 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 Okay, go play. And so that time, instead of just giving one little piece of cheese, I broke it up into several pieces, and I just kind of rewarded 3 or 4 times. So I don't want to be really predictable every time I call the dog. So if I'm only giving them one little piece of liver treat or one little piece of cheese, and I do that for a long period of time, well, the dog knows what that option is when I call them. And so it's very easy for them to weigh options. They may think, well, it's better, I'm more interested in this scent on the ground than getting that one little piece of liver treat. Okay, so I want to keep the dogs guessing. I will also incorporate toys and play to reward the dog, so it's not always just food. And at the same time, I'm very aware of what I'm going to do with the dog when I do call them. So for instance, if I was in the early stages of training and I'm going to have to put these dogs back in the kennel, I may call the dog, leash them, walk them around for the yard for 30 seconds or a minute, and then take them into the kennel rather than calling them to me and then instantly take them straight into the kennel, because I don't want that dog to make that association of coming to me with something negative happening. Ziggy, come. Good boy. Good dog. Good. Good. And you can see his response at this time is a little bit slower than what I would like. So I definitely need to continue to train with him so I can hopefully get a little speedier response versus just kind of walking to me. But I am glad he's coming to me at this point, especially with this other dog out here that he likes to play with. All right, guys, that's it for this video. Hope you can implement some of these tips with your dog and improve your dog's recall training. And I will see you in another video.